Guys, I think the first thing I have to do is I want to follow in Pierre's footsteps, so I'm going to read you something poetic. And in this instance, because as you know, I'm quite a romantic, so if you could bear with me, we need a bit of seriousness after Nick Rabinovitz. And this came from my wife. My wife being the romantic sort of person, she sent me this text. If you are sleeping, send me your dreams. If you are laughing, send me your smile. If you are eating, send me a bite. If you are drinking, send me a sip. If you are crying, send me a tear. I love you, followed by 3 kisses. I texted back, I'm having a shit, what should I do? So guys, I promised I'm going to tell this joke, so Peter Flynn sent it to me. So this Indian, South Dakota, but it's the modern days. So he's just been made chief, but he doesn't know the old ways. So the tribal elders come to him and they say, oh, chief, will it be a cold winter? So, he takes a flyer and he says, yes, it will. He then goes to phones up the local Met office, and he says, is it going to be a cold winter? And they say, it appears it will be. He goes back to the tribal elders and he says, please collect lots of firewood. A week later, they come and they say, chief, will it be a cold winter? He says, it's going to be a very cold winter. Phones up the Met office again. And again, they tell him, look, it looks like it's going to be really cold. He goes back to the Indians. He goes back to elders. He said, look, go collect lots and lots of firewood. They come and he thinks, shit, what if I got it wrong? So he phones the Met office again and he says, is it really, really going to be a cold, cold winter? And they said, it looks like it's going to be the coldest winter in memory. And he says, well, how can you tell? He says, but the Indians are collecting a shitload of firewood. Guys, for every silver lining, there's going to be a cloud. And I think this convention has been absolutely fantastic. But I was talking to Alan Ranson last night. He was saying the best time to have another convention would be when we have our 50th. Which I think is an excellent idea, so a round of applause for Alan Ranson. Okay, I use this as an analogy, guys, and I'm going to try draw your attention to it, but effectively, does the battleship we call Spur require dry docking and a refit to make it competitive in an increasingly threatening market? Now, if you had to list what Clem Sutner said, when he was talking about red flag moments, if you had to listen to what Alan Amber was saying, when he was talking about being on the edge of a cliff, I personally, and I think I speak on behalf of all of my guys, have increasing concerns that, to a degree, we've become a victim of our own success. We are so big, we've in a sense lost our focus, and many instances, when I look at a market where over 3,000 restaurants, pubs, etc., have closed in the last few years, if you had to own a private steakhouse as opposed to a Spur, would you do as well as you do? And I'd like you to think or cogitate on that question. Here's our store turnover. Previous conference, that's the figure we did. This is the year-to-date figure that you can see at the moment. We have grown by 160%. Again, give yourself a round of applause. But then let's have a look at some slightly more alarming factors. I write these things, and just for a bit of ego bullshit, I stuck my name at the bottom, but that was just to amuse you guys. One of the pitfalls of success is complacency. The strength of a brand can hide the lack of focus and weakness of the individual. Who's really steering your investment to these stormy seas? Have a look at some of those figures, guys. We have only, in our group, 49 franchisees actively running their businesses nowadays. 104 are management run. These are complaint stats back in June, from July 2009 to June 2010, 2,800 in a year. The next year, we managed to increase it by 1,000. Give yourself another round of applause, guys. That was said in jest, though. We were fairly consistent the following year, and we kept it in the 3,000s. Now, guys, we're dealing in an uncertain world where food prices are going up, where we can't dictate the political future, but the one thing that we can surely do is make sure that we can dictate what happens in our own little space. This is brand killer stuff. That's to just January 2013. Hardly stuff for a round of applause. 11,000, let's call it 12,000 complaints in 4.5 years. Has your Spur or your group of Spurs been a large contributor? And if it has, what do you think the shape of our brand is going to be when we celebrate 50 years of the most fantastic brand in this country, which was founded by Ellen Amber in 1967? Over 20% of all service sports quality and hygiene reports fail. In essence, that means there's 1 in 5 chance our value patrons will obtain a substandard Spur. And the question I ask you guys is, can we afford these statistics? Will the picture look as rosy at our next conference? What are you guys going to personally do to ensure your substantial investment is enhanced? Your kids depend on it. Costs between 5 and 6 million to open a new Spur. Some of you have groups that are worth tens of millions of rands. But the fact of the matter is, when we look at these things, it's damaging each and every one of us. Guys, I made a couple of videos, because my presentation is very brief today. Because I have a philosophy, and we've had a whole strategy session with my guys about what we intend to do to actually take that battleship out of the dry dock, remove the barnacles from it, sharpen up our service, increase the speed of service. For example, Alan was talking about that yesterday. To me, getting a drink to a table straight away is actually just good hospitality. When I used to work at Seven Spurs, the management used to take the drinks order and get to the customer before even the casual. But I have a philosophy how we're going to do it. But in the meantime, we need a receptive audience, and I need you guys to think about what you're going to do to make sure that we look after our fantastic brand. I'm playing you a good and a bad scenario, and this is a thing, and it's a project that Pierre and I undertook, and it's emotional training. And these two issues that I'm going to bring up now are something that affect me very personally, and believe it or not, they affect our brand, and they certainly affect you guys. Please play the video. And as I say, that's not all. Would you like to play the next round of videos and dim the lights, please?
Hi, good morning. How are you doing? I'm good. Thank you very much.
Natural lunch with sunshine.
And then do you all have taxi fare for today?
No, I don't have.
Then I'll help you out.
Hello.
Thanks very much.